So this is, I think, the fifth part of the shir of yesterday. It's the Pashas Bollok. As the question is, why did Bollok have this strange way of trying to stop Klal Yisrael? He did not want to use military force, but he wanted to use HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Ruchnistic thought, means in order to stop Klal Yisrael. What was his obsession so much that he was willing to pay so much and doing everything that he can, tried 3 times, did not give up in order to stop us from entering Eretz Yisrael. What was his motivation? Here I would like to give you a bit of an introduction. We already discussed it multiple times that when HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to create the Jewish nation, he actually needed two brothers to do it. So it is always a person, a father, and then he has always 2 brothers. For some reasons, those 2 brothers are also, one is the oldest one and the one is the younger one. It has to be. Even at twins, there's always one that comes out first, but there's always a fight between those who actually come out. So there is kind of a tension between who is going to be the Bechor. So we have, of course, we have Cain and Hevel, the first 2 brothers that killed each other, so they did not get along very well. And then HaKadosh Baruch Hu decides at some point that it's going to be Avrom. Avrom is also kind of a brother. He has his brother's son, which, because his brother died very young, it's Lot that took over. So there were 2 brothers. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu could have created a nation from Avrom and Lot, but Lot said that no, we cannot live together. And so Lot actually, although he came up with Avrom to Eretz Yisrael, but at some point he said, no, it's not for me, and let's split up. And so where you go, so Moshe Rabbeinu said, if you go left, when you go left, I will go right. If you go right, I will go left. So basically they split up. But originally, the Jewish nation could have been built between Lot and Avrom. And that's a very important point for the rest. So keep that in mind. Then Avrom had 2 sons, had Yishmael and had Yitzchok. Yishmael was born first, he should be the Bechor. And so Imenu decided that he's not a good match. And she chased him away. HaKadosh Baruch Hu agreed with that. And so it was only Yitzchak, so we need to wait another 2 sons. And indeed, there are 2 sons, they are twins. Those twins are Yaakov and Esau. And here again, you have the oldest that kind of the Yaakov trying to hold the foot of the oldest one, trying to not let him go out first. There's again a beautiful story again, and 2 brothers. One will be the strong one, and the one that will bring the Gashmis. Adon Duchnis. Yitzchak Avinu was thrilled, but Rivka Imenu decided that it's not a good idea, and it's actually Yaakov should actually take over the whole thing, and Esau is not to be part of the Jewish nation, and that's HaKadosh Baruch Hu agreed with that. And then when Yaakov had 12 sons, also there's 2 brothers that are the most in the fighting. There's a tension, is Yehuda, that is older than Yosef, but Yosef is becoming king before him. And Yehuda had to bow down to Yosef. And so again, you have 2 brothers that discuss. And the question is, were those 2 brothers willing to work with each other? And that's a very difficult question, because you can see already that the Torah is preparing already the catastrophe where those 2 do not want to work together, and therefore they themselves have also 2 sons. Also twins for the first. Yehuda had twins, had Zerach and Peretz, and Zorach and Peretz, and this is also there is also that the story that one overtook the other one. So again, you see the younger that overtakes the older one, but the 2 twins, and then you have Menashe and Ephraim, which are also that the younger actually receives the brocha of the oldest from Yaakov Avinu. So here you see again, there is kind of the story of two brothers where there is a bit of a tension of who is the oldest and who is the youngest one. And in other words, if there would be a catastrophe that Yosef and Yehuda would not be willing to work together, then Klal Yisrael would have been either on the side of Yehuda, would continue with Zorach and Peretz, or with Menashe and Ephraim. The Torah does not tell us which one it would have been, but theoretically it could have been either one. But because Yosef and Yehuda said, no, we are okay, we can work together. This is how the Sefer Bamidbar in the end of Parshas Vayikri is, that Yosef and Yehuda, they reconcile and they become brothers again, and they say, let's work both in the plan of bringing this nation to Eretz Yisrael, but first let's make them grow so that they can go in big numbers to Eretz Yisrael. So they both agree to work together. So the Klal Yisrael has been formed. Finally, Klal Yisrael has been formed. Now, as I said, if it would have been not successful if Yosef and Yehuda would say no, or Yosef would say, I don't want to work with you, Yehuda, or Yehuda would say, I don't want to work with you, Yosef. Then the Klal Yisrael would have had to go through the next generation. Like I said, either Menashe and Ephraim or Zorach and Peretz. If those two would have failed, maybe it would have failed completely. Then eventually we'll have to go back up. And what do we see? Interestingly, that one of the candidates that could have worked together and being part of the Jewish nation was Lloyd. Lloyd also has two sons. And also something very strange happened, that the older daughter, it was an incestual relationship, the older daughter went with her father, and then the younger daughter went with her father. It's a strange story. Torah tells us a story and speaks about the oldest and the youngest, and the oldest and youngest, they have two sons, Ammon and Moav, and therefore they are two brothers. And so we have again two brothers that are waiting also to eventually maybe become part of the Jewish nation. Don't forget, Lloyd is an Ivri as much as Aaron is one of the same family. This is an important event, and the Torah is also preparing us. And the reason why I'm saying it is because when you look at the history, it could have been then that Bollok was thinking spiritually that maybe he still makes a chance to become Israel. Because if Klal Yisrael is being stopped by HaKadosh Baruch Hu and showing them, look how bad they are, how sinners and they are not capable, etc., then HaKadosh Baruch Hu could have stopped that and give it back to, or give it back to the original plan, which was with Lloyd. And Lloyd had two sons again. And so we have here two sons, Ammon and Moab, which could have been building the Jewish state, the Jewish nation. And so Bollok tried with every means, because he knows that the moment that Klal Yisrael enters Eretz Yisrael, that's it. That's been fixed. There is no more changes. As long as Klal Yisrael don't enter Eretz Yisrael, there is still a possibility to change the course of history and the course of humanity. Where Klal Yisrael would have been, the name of Israel would have gone over to Ammon and Moab instead of to the children of Abraham. And so therefore it's very interesting, because that's exactly the point Bil'am was telling the Bollok every time he gave a brocha. He always mentioned actually the brochas, the three different brochas that existed in the Bris Ben Absorim. You will have a lot of children, you will conquer the enemy, and you will receive the land. And so therefore the brochas that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave to Bris Ben Absorim, Bil'am is kind of confirming it. It's as if Hashem is telling through the mouth of Bil'am that forget about it. You will not receive Israel. You will always be only secondary nations. They will be next to Israel, a very important part. Ammon and Moab, you will be part of the borders with Eretz Israel, and we will not be able to attack you theoretically, but you will not be Israel itself. And that's something which Bollok could not accept, and he really wanted to try everything to do before Klal Yisrael enters Israel, because there is still a chance to receive it. And in order to, and then this is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu is telling them, that it's finished. Once I decided, that's it. And it's also a very important message to Christianity, because it's exactly what Christianity is also doing. Christianity is claiming that since we have failed, historically we have failed, therefore it should go back to Edom. Edom is Esau. Checked out Esau from the picture because of Rivko that told Yaakov, you should go by yourself. But actually, since we have failed, then it becomes back to Esau, and Esau receives the name of Israel. Esau gave over his name of Israel to Yaakov, but when Yaakov fails, then it goes back to Esau, and that's what they claim. They claim that they are the Israel of now, of today, that we lost that name. It's a very interesting viewpoint to say that since the Rebbeinu Shalom decided it's going to be this nation, the Rebbeinu Shalom does not change his mind. And that is why the whole Parshas of Bollok is very important as an argument against the Christians that believe that we have lost the name of Israel and it went back to Esau. So basically, that was it. May we take Zeuge to the Geula Shleimo B'Meiro B'Yomeinu Amen.